Previously on Beyond the Spark.
Man, month 3, last challenge. Everybody's on their own, and we got kicked off with the idea of Beyond the Spark.
Yeah, it's a big task, but I mean, why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not go beyond the spark?
It actually started with the very first stanza. It's where this all started. And so it was kind of just building from there, and then the microphone theme part kind of took me. I had to try to figure out how I wanted to get there. And so that kind of took me through it. And then I got stuck in the structure of these, of these rhythmic rhyming stanzas, which also, if I had known the wormhole I was digging myself into.
What you wrote for Microphone Fiend is still kind of a continuation of what you wrote for the Spark part, that you could mix these up when you edit.
Okay.
Because right now, the first half, both halves are really strong, but the second half feels like a second half, and that's only because we've got this Microphone Fiend metaphor going throughout the whole thing, but it starts halfway. Like if you read it this way, it would start halfway through the poem and then eliminate the rest of the poem. So I think you could mix them up, and because they're all kind of on the same theme, it wouldn't feel like it's mixed up. It would feel like it's one whole thing. I could hear this on the stage right now. Not that other people are doing it. I mean, I can read it and hear you doing it on the stage and see the reaction from everybody, because it asks a different question than I think everybody else is asking. Like everybody else is either proposing, hey, this is what inspires me, and this is when I push beyond that, or this is what happens beyond all this stuff. And I think one person that I've worked with so far might be taking that beyond the spark as, hey, it's more than this. It's my real life, and I have to do this past my real life. I think this asks a completely different question that every artist is going to resonate with.
So when Rhea put worth the wait, that's what she's talking about, is in the force, in the imagination, it's worth the wait to wait on being able to write with them in whatever form, like after that. So, and I just thought about if we're quiet and we listen, we can hear our ancestors, maybe just in our imagination. So I wrote about that. And
when we're talking about the performance of it, one, allow yourself to go back to that space of being a child actor and the theatrics, and allow yourself to get big and, to feel awkward about it, and that's okay. Yeah. But two, don't put the pressure on yourself to perform well for 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. Like, honestly, if you're going to have other video and other sounds that you're bringing in and other visuals, you just need to perform well about 15 seconds at a time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whenever you're actually going to be on the camera, put all your energy into that 10 to 15 seconds being very expressive and very big theatrically.
A jump at the sun, that's what it was.
Be okay to leave it on the page. It's okay to leave it on the page.
That's all I got.
Well, I absolutely I love the musicality. I love the beat. I love the sentiment that it's okay to just leave it on the page. I didn't hear anything about the sun yet. I don't know if you just haven't written that part.
No, I said I haven't got to that part yet.
Okay, awesome. No, I love what you did, and that you're pushing yourself, beyond it just being just the poetry, and I think you said that after the first challenge, like getting back to your musical roots, and just bringing back the musicality into your work.
Because like Nikki Giovanni was like, if you're reading your own material and it's like pushing you and you're finding new stuff and it's like making you feel, then you in that spot. And so I feel like the first space about the spark is like really, it's like a cohesive piece, and I really, really like it. Yeah, with the quasar definition from like NASA, that was just really just to put the information out there.
Okay.
Because like there is discrepancy between like, is it merging or is it colliding? And you got all these parameters.
That's good. You're finding stabilization and equilibrium in life. For some connections and with some people, you find that you do crash into them, right? That crash is what leads you into the next level of your life. And it's only an impact. It's not long lasting, right? A crash is something that happens and then it's over. But it's forever changing the situation. Whereas a merge is more like a marriage. It's time. It happens. It has longevity. So you just might want to look at just those different things and what they mean to you. Maybe more than just digging into what a quasar is in your by giving that definition, but more so what it made you think about.
Okay, so my topic was it was break the shell or break the wall. Okay. So my initial idea with like Beyond the Spark, or just with the video, in a whole, was to I don't know, like I want it to show variety. And like, I don't know, the insanity and reality, like the insanity that everybody doesn't see, So Beyond the Spark for me was like beyond the shadows of yourself, right? Like beyond your comfort, your security, and then, outside of your comfort and security is opportunity, distraction, comfort. Connection, right? Those things are hard to do. Then you have to break through all of the trauma and all of the, to get to your best self. But yeah, it was a cool work. And even how I wrote, like, realize, because I've just been writing stuff on the board, on my chalkboard, and like taking pictures, and it's forming. It's coming. I cried in the shower. I don't even like to cry, and I don't like to be vulnerable, and I don't like to be soft. Like I like things to be light. If it was my way, then everything would be lighthearted and fun. But
well, sometimes you gotta let the vulnerability out. Sometimes the labor of actually typing it while you're crying or getting that emotion out, it doesn't fit because you're trying to type and cry, talk, whatever. So just turn on your phone recorder and then just talk until if it's an hour, if it's 2 hours, whatever. And then just take some headphones, go back and listen to it as if you're an outside person listening to somebody else, and then jot down the jewels that you found there.
Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
just the irony of the influence of time with all the stuff that I'm trying to accomplish. I was talking to someone the other day. We did this event that we're not calling a festival. It's close to a festival. That I was able to get a lot of people involved in it, and I just felt like it still wasn't enough, because I felt like I was running out of time. And I didn't give it much thought as to how someone might have taken that. It's just how I felt in the moment. And, you know, thinking back in context, it might sound like I was dying. I don't necessarily feel like I'm dying as much as I feel like whatever I'm doing, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. So I'm trying to get as much done as possible. And that could be in context of mortality or in context of the actual job. So time will either, depending on how you are set up, if you're a procrastinator, then, you know, you are built to do things last minute. Time is what motivates you. But if you're not, then, you know, time is what helps you dictate how you're going to get things done. It influences productivity. It influences detail. It influences a lot of things, depending on how much of it you have and how little of it you have. Sort of like wealth, you know. You got a lot of money, you got a lot of options, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't have a lot of time, if you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of options, you got to get creative with what you got.
Right.
So I think that's why I'm like that, that this particular part of the challenge is going to be super dope.
Thinking about time, Rhea, I was working with Rhea last week, and she asked me this question about what scares you. And I realized that time scares me. But then I was thinking about my work. So I work with this organization called RTA, which works with like incarcerated folks here in New York State. And so I work directly with these ladies at this correctional facility called Taconic and Bedford Hills, which are like two maximum security prisons for women. And so I wrote this piece because, like, oftentimes when I tell people, like, I work with incarcerated folks, many times it's mostly white people, be like, oh, are you afraid?
I think that's something we can all work on is what does it truly mean to have a conversation with someone or to invite them into the poem? Like, are they there as a prop or are they living in the poem? And I think that that's something we can.
I'm excited. Last Wednesday, I finished my piece, and all my coaches are really excited. So am I. I always love when you really love your work, you'll perform it really, really well. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Really, really stoked. And last 2 days, I've just been like memorizing, getting this work in. So, you know, we'll have to see what's about to happen. You already know. We coming with like some heat for the video. So yeah, excited about this process.
Well, it's well for me, it's trying to not do the same thing each time.
Yes, that's what I felt and saw. I was like, he's trying to definitely get away from whatever the first couple seconds. I really felt like you were just trying not to repeat yourself or continue the same thought process.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the one thing about this process, for at least for me, because I'm generally that way of not wanting to just. I mean, I could crank out the same things, but I was like, I don't want to do that.
And it would have been easy to do with Behind the Spark. I mean, you could have talked about that all day. Yeah,
and that was the other thing. Like, that was the first prompt. And so that sent me down this whole other road. And I was just like, I just don't want to do the same thing. So Yeah, I'm going to end up having to do a lot of lifting. Jay was like, I know this what you're going to do. I'm going to end up doing a lot of back end lifting on this. To get to where I want to end up. And even
to smooth it out. To smooth it out.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to end up. There's probably parts of this is going to end up being in other pieces that are going to come out of this, in order for it to be a lot more cohesive.
Okay, outside of the initial spark of inspiration, which is like your family, your kids, your home, your surroundings, right? Outside of that is your fears and insecurities, but also opportunity to grow. And once you move past that, you're still battling like the shadows of yourself and the things you tell yourself subconsciously and internally that you don't even realize. To be able to produce outside of that. Do you know what I mean? Outside of your own limits.
We are born into this creativity within us, and whether it's with numbers or research or performance or music, whatever brings you joy that doesn't harm other people, this creativity is it's in you. So take 1 minute a week. Start with 1 minute wherever you happen to be, even in the bathroom, and show yourself that you're worth it.